Hello everyone, how you doing? You're very welcome to this week's Rugby View with myself, Aidan and Raftery, and of course to talk about all things rugby, we have Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club. Hello Adrian, how are you? Are you well?
Good afternoon, Aidan. Yeah, all very good now. Really looking forward to a big weekend of rugby between Connacht Rugby and the World Cup final then on Saturday evening. So it'll be rugby is really taken off, and this weekend with so much activity, uh, there's still a lot of interest, even though that Ireland isn't in the World Cup. There's still a lot of interest in the World Cup final because they have the two best teams of New Zealand and South Africa in the final. I know it's the two teams, as we do say, from down under, but they're the stronghold of rugby for years and have won the World Cup in the past as well.
That's it. And of course, I suppose with regards Ireland, obviously Ireland played both of them. And so I suppose for Ireland's count there, I suppose 1 out of 2 ain't bad. The bet South Africa just couldn't get over the line against a very good New Zealand team. But yeah, we'll touch on them later on. But I suppose the first thing we better start off with, as we do every week, is Craig's Rugby Club. And to kick it off, I suppose I had the honour of doing physio as a lovely as a great tournament on Wednesday that was hosted by Craig's Rugby Club, and that was the Youth Reach Inclusion Tag Rugby tournament, and there was 4 schools involved in that. There was the Roscommon, Tuam, and Mount Bellew, and I think Ballygar as well. So it was lovely. I was there on the day. Obviously, Niall Quinn did a great job of coordinating, and of course all the volunteers, and of course his son Andy was reffing the game, and of course John was playing for Roscommon Youths for the Roscommon Youth Reach team as well, and played very well. So I suppose just getting your own point of view on tournaments like this. It was a tag rugby team, obviously. These are vital for for people of all abilities and from all backgrounds, that they can come together and play rugby. There was actually a couple of Brazilian lads played for Roscommon for the Roscommon Youth Reach College as well, which is great to see. I suppose it just goes to show you the diversity as regards people from different cultures and different countries as well, but also with different abilities. And that just goes to show how much rugby has come on, and I suppose how inclusive a sport it has become over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And we IRFU and Connacht Rugby and clubs are all looking at it as a benefit to widen our base into areas that we haven't been involved in previously. And it is fantastic to watch it in action, and to the whole misabilities. They get all the different nationalities, as you said, different countries. We have ran a few of them here in Roscommon, out in Listamult. We have ran them out in Dunaman, and in various places. And it's great for the young children and that they have that type of an outing, and that there's that type of rugby available to them, and rightly so. That we should make every effort to incorporate them in the overall system of things. And there's a lot of people in the community now with all the Ukraine people living in Roscommon now as well. So we have to be able to have the various sporting facilities for them. And as you mentioned, the Brazilians and the Polish people have been here in Roscommon for some time, and have been involved in a number of sports. As you know, Aidan, involved in the soccer, and also involved in cricket as well. So there's a lot of different sports going on that people are involved in. And it's great to have the support and the volunteers that's able to look after them, and to have the facilities that we have in Craig's to be able to allow games, all types of games like this to go on is great as well. And we welcome them with open arms to Craig's, and at all stages there, that they any people that wants to organise events like this, they approach the club, and if they're covered insurance wise with public liability and all, we have no difficulty in allowing our facilities to be used for mixed abilities or for any sport like this. So it's great. And I have been involved with Youth Reach a bit since the Ukraine people came to Rosfm, and they're a great organisation, and they do a lot of great work, and it's worth remember that there's bodies like Youth Reach out there helping a lot of people. Maybe they have dropped out of the mainstream in school, and Youth Reach have come in to help them out and maybe put them on the right track. And it's great for families that they know that there's a body like Youth Reach out there that's able to help boys and girls that maybe having certain difficulties dealing with the norm going through the school system.
That's it. And I suppose, this goes to show you how much the students enjoyed it. I heard one or two students going up to Niall, and asking when is the next tournament, and they enjoyed it so much they can't wait for the next tournament. That goes to show you, I suppose, how enjoyable tag rugby is. And I suppose if it's run well, the right people are involved, like Niall. And I suppose Niall personally yourself as well. He's a great guy. Like, he's involved in the GA club, and he's involved with the rugby teams and things like that. And he really puts in a lot of work, no more than yourselves and everyone else at Craig's Rugby Club. And but he really is vital, and he has a passion for this area of rugby as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was at a football meeting last night, and it's just amazing the amount of volunteers that we have, and how big the club has got, particularly with the amount of mini rugby teams, the amount of youth teams, and all now. Like some of the older lads like myself were just saying, to try and just cope with the size of the club and the number of people and the number of coaches, just to get to know everybody now is a difficulty. So it's great, and there's probably a lot more volunteers out there that's sending their boys and girls to mini rugby and to youth rugby, and we would welcome them on board. That they would maybe give a handout on the mornings, particularly when you have big numbers, 300 and 400 there on a Saturday morning. And some teams, there's up on 50 to plus in one age group, and you need a lot of people when you're handling that sort of numbers. And we would like to welcome some more parents to take a more active role in the coaching. And it's not that difficult, particularly if they start at mini rugby age. They get involved, and they will be shown the way by a good lot of the experienced coaches, and they won't be left stranded on their own, Aidan. So there'll be good advice there and good help for them, and it'll be good for them as well as their son or daughter as well.
And of course, if they want to get more seriously into the coaching end of things, there's a wide array of courses that can be done for coaching rugby. And of course, people like yourself, people like Niall, and of course, the other people in the club will be only too delighted to recommend and advise them on what courses to do at what stages, because I suppose once you get involved in any way in rugby, But given the kind of culture, it can be very addictive, and it's nearly like a second family when you get involved in Craig's Rugby Club, or indeed any rugby club.
Oh, it is, yeah. That's a great thing about sport, and that's a great thing about a team sport. I'd always say, that we are a big rugby family, and we are really, and that's you're absolutely spot on, Aidan. There, that it's great, and the comradeship and everybody involved, and everyone is there for the good of their sons and daughters, and to try and help out, and hopefully that we'll see them progress, and that they'll enjoy the game. It's all, at the end of the day, it's not all about competition and getting to wear the green jersey of Connacht or Ireland, or to be in a World Cup. It's all about Johnny or Mary out there enjoying themselves, and they all have a lot of energy at that particular age, and they need to use it up some way, and it's a lot easier. I can tell you, having reared six myself, I know what it's like. I had to replace all the doors in the house and all when
Windows.
all grew up. There was quite a few rugby games played in the hallway and played in the landing and so on in this house. So, but that was all. That was all part of it. But it's nice to have the open surroundings as we have in Craig's, that they can go out there and enjoy themselves.
And of course, look, we mention it nearly every week or every now and again with regards to the parents that come along. Obviously, like you said, they can walk. There's a walkway around the pitch. They can do that. But also, after training or indeed after matches at any level, not just at the level that their kids are playing, but also, we say, if they go to like first team games and second team games and any of the underage games, be at home or away. They can meet up with other families and socialize that way, because there's always tea and coffee or whatever going afterwards, and great chat and that's what it's all about, the social aspect. And I think you find that in every club, though, don't you, as well?
Yeah, very, very much so, Aidan. Very much so. It's that is the nice thing about sport. No matter what sport you're involved in, it's nice to be able to go and visit clubs. And the one thing that I, as I'm getting older myself, it's great going around clubs and meeting people that you played with when 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and just enjoying having the chat and all that. There's that comradeship, there's that great memory of people that and network of people that through sport, and it's always a great advantage when you go away to a club, or you go to a Connacht game, or you go to an Irish game in the Viva. The amount of people that you run into and meet that down through the years through rugby. So that's the whole thing of the rugby family comes in.
That's it. And of course, before we move on to on-field matters, obviously, as I said, I was there on Wednesday for the tournament, and it was great to see. But also, we've seen builders and electricians and all sorts of tradesmen there still working away on it, and it really has this new building has really become an impressive structure, and it's really coming on day by day, isn't it? You can really notice how it is. I took a few photos of it as well, and it's a fine building, and it's something that'll be there but that'll be huge, not just to be a huge use, not just to Craig's Rugby, but any other club that visits, or any other people that visit, as you said, for functions and things like that, or events. It'll really serve the club well for many years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you've seen from the outside, the main structure and all is fully completed, and we have put in the Tar Macadam is down, and the beautiful car park facilities there now for cars coming in, and it's no longer looks like a building site, but we are doing, it's like building a private house. It's all the intricacies of tile and plumbing, electrical work, doing all the individual showers, rigging the whole thing out, rigging upstairs in relation to the gym and so on. So there's a lot of individual interior work that's slow, and it takes time, and it's probably the most expensive part of the building, in working out all the little plumbing bits and electrical work and tiling and so on. So, but again, we're going to get there. In relation to fundraising, we continue to rely very heavily on all our sponsors. The fundraising is continuing. We're running a scratch card for Saturday evening. Anybody that hasn't got their scratch card ticket for Saturday evening, there's still some available. So it's for the first score, whoever, the timing of the first score. So the tickets are a £5 each. So, they're keenly priced, and it's an opportunity to, maybe at the end of the game, that you can walk away with €1,000. So that's there. But, we are very appreciative and thankful to all our community and the support that we have throughout in relation to all our fundraising efforts through all this particular period. And we will probably have to run a further draw early in the new year in order to be able to finish the building off.
That's great, and we wishing you all the best of luck with that. But sure, and carrying on then now to as we always do, we start off with the I linked them, the mini rugby and the underage in the club.
Yeah, they're starting into full activity now. The mini rugby, they're up and running with various blitzes, and some teams are travelling away, and other teams are playing in Craigs at the different levels. And there's a big blitz again this Saturday morning against Claremorris as the visiting team to the club. So again, that's absolutely fantastic. And then on the other hand, then with that, for the young under 12 boys and girls, they will be the guests of honour in the sports ground on Saturday at half time. So they'll be going in, and we have the honours going to our under 18 winners as well. They'll be our under 18 girls. They'll be shown at half time as well. So there'll be a great buzz of Craig's people in the sports ground on Saturday for the Connacht v Glasgow game. So that's all going on. That's the way the youth operates, and it's great. That's a lovely day outing for particularly all the under 12s to have a day playing in the sports ground. And then it's thankful to the likes of Claremorris, who's really basically mini rugby and youth teams coming up. They're a young club getting off the ground, and they're making great strides in Claremorris, and it's nice to be able to welcome them to Craig's on Saturday morning.
And hopefully you'll get the weather for now. Yesterday was a lovely day. For today is nice as well. But yeah, so that brings us on to the second team and the first team in Craig's Rugby Club.
Yeah, just the youths have gone extremely well as well. Aidan, we had all our youth teams out at the weekend. We had some wins and some losses, and some losses, and that's the way it is. And this weekend, there's not as much rugby on this weekend on account of the World Cup. So there's two youth games on Sunday morning in Craig. So again, it's there for anybody that wishes to go out to Craig's. And needless to say, there'll be a fair old buzz around Craig's this weekend with the Craig's Harvest Festival being on as well. Some people might be able to see other activities going on in Craig's when they're out there. So as you say, the first team has continued on their winning way. They had their second victory in the Connacht League away to Ballinrobe last weekend, and again it was it was a good game on Sunday. It was they played very well in stages. They wouldn't win any World Cup on the way they played, but they did enough to get away with a bonus point win. So they got the 5 points. So they have got the maximum points of 10 points out of the first 2 games. So that's we will want to sharpen up before Connemara visits Craigs on the 12th of November. So that's going to be a big game. Connemara have also won their first 2 games. They're back on track, and it'll be a fantastic game when that comes around. But we're just you don't want to maybe peak too early, but you want to maybe rise the standards. And unfortunately, our captain Brian Diffley is out of action at the present time with an injury. But hopefully, that he'll be back in time for the Connemara game. But Tom Callahan has come back to the club this year. He work commitments meant that he couldn't travel down from Dublin in the last 2 seasons. But we're glad to have Tom back in the club again. And Tom has been a real stalwart for the club. He has been captain for approximately 4 years, and he's playing great rugby again at number 8. And when Brian is out, it was great to have a person of the calibre of Tom Callahan able to come into the first side. And our second side was away to Tuam last Saturday evening. They had up on 20 players. A great performance by a team that was really put together. A lot of our youth players that have come through the system were part of the development team, our seconds. And some of them just gone, 18, 19 years of age. So it was great to see them. They lost out narrowly to Tuam. But it was all about participating, having the numbers there, and to be able to put out a second squad. And all credit to the management of the second side and the team for getting a team on the field last Saturday evening.
That's great, and it's great to see it, and we wish Brian a speedy recovery from injury, and of course, great to see Tom Callahan back as well, like he just said there. So that takes us on to the AIL section, I suppose, and the usual teams and all the teams from around Connacht that are in the AIL. Teams like obviously Buccaneers, they unfortunately lost, but then also Carrick Rugby Club and Sligo and Corinthians and Galwegians, all these teams. What's the latest on that?
The latest, sadly, is that our neighbours Buccaneers are struggling at the present time. They've played 3 games. They've lost and they're bottom of the table at the present time. So if they're to stay within that particular league that they're in now, they're finding it a very competitive league. They will want to be getting points on the board, and hopefully that we can see an improvement in the Buccaneers team, and that maybe more kind of players would be available to them. Again, it's always tough at that level, and tough in the division that they're playing. And let's hope that will turn around for Buccaneers. Sligo at the weekend also lost out. Sligo had been doing exceptionally well. They had 2 great wins against northern teams. They lost out at the weekend. And as I say, the Galwegians, the Corinthians are going well this season. Ballina are struggling. Ballina is in the same boat as the Buccaneers. They haven't registered a point on the board yet. So again, Ballina are probably struggling at that level, and hopefully that, like last year, they struggled until Christmas, and after Christmas they put in great performances to be able to stay within the AIL. So hopefully that they will get the whole show on the road again and get points on the board. Carrigan Shannon is going very well. Carrigan Shannon had started off their league program with wins. Unfortunately, their ground with the poor weather that we have had in the last week or two, their pitch was unplayable at the weekend, and they were to play Ballina, and they were even prepared to travel to Ballina to play the game, but that didn't materialise either. So there's maybe a couple of games that game will be replayed, and we wish them well against Ballina, because like Carrick was keen to keep the momentum going after starting off well, and hopefully that they will continue to do so. And just I forgot to mention our great ladies and women in Craigs. They have been going exceptionally well this season, and we had our first league game with our senior women's team at the weekend away to Sligo. Sligo has a strong women's team that has been playing together for some time. We had probably half the team that had never played rugby before, so yeah, we lost out to Sligo. But the important thing was that we have a senior team up and running, and our next home game will be probably Saturday week against Ballinrobe in Craigs. So there would be something similar to Craigs, that they're starting up as well, and it should be a more even contest. But it's great for the club to have the youth that has come through in Craigs, that more and more of them will come available to play. They really enjoy the game. They enjoyed the game immensely. It was an extremely enjoyable game against Sligo. And I'd like to thank Sligo and Sligo women for hosting the game, and hopefully that we get a return fixture with them.
That's it, and of course, it's great to get games now, and of course, but I suppose when any club is set up and they start playing in a league or indeed any competition, the first season is always, I suppose, a learning curve, and then in the second season, then they're a bit more prepared, because I suppose it's finding out the lay of the land, but also they're developing and learning about, I suppose, what's expected of them at that level or whatever, and throughout the first season, then they're developing game on game and getting better and better and better, and then when it comes to the season 2, then they're better prepared.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and as well as that, you'll have more players coming in from the under-18s that have played quite a bit of rugby, that they will be coming into senior level. So your team not alone will have the experience of playing this season, but they'll be strengthened more as more and more players come in from the under-18 side into the team. So that's good to see.
That's great. And moving on to Connacht now as well, and as we just said, the United Rugby Championship is getting into full swing now, and it's going to be great to see, as you just said there. Obviously, Glasgow Warriors are coming to the sports ground. That's going to be great, and of course, as you just said there, with the Craigs under 18s and the under 12s being there at half time, there's going to be a great buzz in the sports grounds on this weekend.
Oh, absolutely, and it was. I was in the sports ground last Saturday, and you would think you were on the Mediterranean. Unlike the sports ground, it was absolutely beautiful. A beautiful Saturday afternoon for rugby. Yeah, like as I said, we were all togged out in our normal gear that you have to be when you go to the sports ground, because normally it's the coldest place that the man above made. But again, Saturday, it was beautiful sunshine, a great game. We started off the game against the Ospreys very strongly, and our scrum half, Keelan Blade, went in for a hat trick of tries in the first half. So it looked that it was going to be a cakewalk for Connacht, But Ospreys had other ideas in the second half, and they turned around and put it up to us. And we had for part of the game, it looked that Ospreys was going to come back into it and win the game. But then Connacht got back into it and won out the game comfortably in the end and got the bonus point. So it's nice to start off the URC with the bonus point win at home. And as I said earlier, we have Glasgow. Glasgow it looks a formidable team this year. They fairly hammered Leinster last Saturday, and where Connacht is going to have to be in top form on this Saturday afternoon. So I'm really looking forward to it because it should be a great game of rugby. But as I say, Connacht will have to match them up in the forwards in particular. They look a very strong forward pack, and as I say, they have probably a few of their internationals now back, seeing that they were out of the World Cup earlier than we were, and they're able to get back into the Glasgow team. Unfortunately, our out half, Jack Carty, got a facial injury. He came on as a sub and got a facial injury. Had to go to hospital. But glad to say that he's on the mend. He probably won't be fit enough to face Glasgow, but as captain of the team, he will be there in spirit and urging them on. So it's great to, and hope that we see that Jack makes a speedy recovery. And then a few more players with niggly type of injuries as well. And then we have, of course, our three international players. They'll probably be rested for another week or two, and they'll be coming in to strengthen the squad. And it's great to see Bundy being nominated for player of the tournament in the World Cup. And, he well deserves it. He has had a tremendous tournament in the World Cup. And, he was playing the rugby of his life for Ireland. And let's hope that when he comes back into the Connacht, that he'll continue in that vein for Connacht.
That's it, and we'd like to wish Jack Carty a speedy recovery. And I suppose with that in mind for Jack, with him out injured, who's the most likely replacement for him for this weekend's match?
Well, they're Brian Hanrahan, who played for Munster for a number of years, and he played with other clubs in England and so on, and he's kind of signed him up at the beginning of this season. So he started the game last week, and he will be the starter again now this week. An experienced out half. He's a good strong player and also a good kicker as well. So I have no doubts that he'll be well up to it on the day, and he's probably a good old steady find for Connacht in order to back up Jack Carty and that there this season. So it's good to have that support play. And the two lads in the centre, Farrell and Ford, they had great games as well, and a few of the pack, couple of new signings, they played extremely well as well. So it looks an all round good team. Now they let in a few tries against Ospreys. They wouldn't want to be slack in defence as they were in the second half with Glasgow this weekend. So hopefully that they'll tighten up their game for this Saturday.
That's it, and that just finally takes us on to the World Cup final between the All Blacks and South Africa, and of course the third place playoff.
Yeah, the curtain raiser is Friday evening for the third playoff. I'm not sure how much interest is in it apart from pride for the two teams and for seeding and all as well. It's very important for both teams. Now England put up an extremely good game, strong game against South Africa last weekend, and was unlucky to lose the game in the end. They probably played the elements better than South Africa did with the. Now it's not attractive to watch with the high kicking and the amount of kicking the ball instead of putting it through the hands, but it was effective with the heavy rainfall and a greasy ball for last weekend, and the forwards really stood out to it. So I take it that if England plays like that on Friday evening, that they will outplay Argentina. Argentina looked a very poor, ragged team against the All Blacks at the weekend. So I see an England win there. Then all the attention is really on the big one on Saturday evening, and that's comes down to the two teams from down under in South Africa again and New Zealand that have come through the system, and they're two very formidable teams. We know a lot of their players because they're around for some time. Some of them have won 1, 2, 3, and there's I think Whitelaw in New Zealand is going for his fourth. He's been playing in his fourth World Cup, and this will probably be his fourth final. So players like that with the experience that they have, both in South Africa and in New Zealand, like a lot of the South African team that won last year or won 4 years ago, they're back in the team again. They have gone back to a lot of their old reliables to pull this one off. So I see a great battle. I see a very good game. It mightn't be for the purest, but it will be a good, hard-fought game. I think that probably New Zealand will probably shade it for the simple reason that they have had an easier draw than South Africa. South Africa has played a lot of hard games in order to get through their group, and with the England game, and they also have a day's less rest than New Zealand had. So I fancy New Zealand to come out on top. And it is a great honour for one family, the Barrett family, to have 3 sons playing in a World Cup final, for New Zealand. And it's a lovely situation for that family, and to see their parents in the stands last weekend. I'm sure they will be very proud parents if New Zealand lifts the trophy this weekend.
That's it, and we'd like to wish all teams involved all the best. So thanks very much, Adrian, for taking the time out to do Rugby View, and we look forward to looking back on that World Cup final next week.
Thank you very much, Aidan. Thank you.
Thanks very much.